So could those triggers be global or local? Neeraj Seth, the founder and CIO at 3R Investment Management, joins us now. We've been doing well domestically, Neeraj, but the uncertainty of the globe keeps us on tenterhooks and perhaps just a little away from all-time highs. What is your sense on, what the environment is right now in the globe with the kind of money that is being deployed towards AI? No, play in India, so to say, about this, and the tariff uncertainty that continues?
So I think we are moving towards maybe a slightly lower uncertainty, and there are three parts of it if you think about it. You have the trade uncertainty, all the tariff discussions. So last 1 week, President Trump's Asia trip, I think on the margin was on the positive side. Not everything is resolved, not even close, but the direction of travel certainly actually showed some de-escalation. From a global growth perspective, there's certainly you're seeing slowdown, but you're not seeing a sharp slowdown. So I think there's certainly a support factor there. And lastly, from a US policy standpoint, obviously the markets were a little bit disappointed with the comments from Chair Powell. But the fact is, this is what one would have expected, a rate cut with some uncertainty about the December cut, which is going to be data dependent. And you're not getting a lot of data right now out of US, but all together, I think we are still in an okay environment from a global perspective, which is, to your point, could be supportive for India. And the last point is the India trade deal. I think it's, if I look at the cues from the last 1 week, there should be some traction there in the coming days and week.
So just a matter before we hit all-time highs in India.
Well, there's a potential now, as you were showing the data, the FIIs have been on the margin selling, slowed down selling again. And there's an additional element there, which is the competition for capital. When you think about Asia Pac, you have obviously the Chinese market doing well. Japan is actually getting traction. The KOSPI in Korea has done exceptionally well this year. So there's a little more balance, but on the margin, the FIIs selling should continue to slow down, remain muted with some potential for inflows if we see the further reversal in the market on the upside.
Well, hi, Neeraj. Morning. Good to see you in. And you mentioned this close around 20 sessions or so ago. And that's the way it played out, right? The FIs have been sellers. This is a case where they could actually turn neutral. That's what played out. But as you said the last time around as well, earnings growth, that needs to come back. Then we could see the gush of inflows. But going by what you're saying, Neeraj, I think you're talking about that Trump is likely to have peaked out. We are likely to have seen peak Trump tariffs. Is that correct?
I do believe so. The direction clearly is softening.
All right. And what about the Fed? What do you make of the Fed action, yesterday with regard to that cut? And what's the trajectory they'll follow going ahead? And if you could also come in on gold. I think you were quite positive that gold could continue to trend up. What's your view out there? Fed action and gold. Please go ahead.
Sure. And by the way, these two are somewhat related.
Yeah.
So first of all, the Fed action, it was very much in line with what I would have expected, a 25 basis points cut with data dependency for future trajectory. I still think the Fed has room to cut another 50 to 75 basis points before they pause. So December is still very much in play. But in absence of data, the point about data dependency will stay true. I don't think that's changing. So on the margin, still in the camp that you will see further cuts from the Fed. And with regards to gold, interestingly, last time when we were chatting 20 days back, gold had crossed 4,000. We again crossed 4,000. So we did a little bit of a round trip with a technical correction. Structurally, from a medium-term perspective, I remain positive on gold. As I said, it is taking the place of an alternative currency for central banks and savers. I think there is a good story unless we see significant shift from a global monetary policy perspective. So if the Fed doesn't cut rates and the dollar keeps strengthening, then the dollar gold, obviously that cross can see gold coming lower.
Neeraj, hi. What about IPOs in India? It's a red hot market. There's never a dull moment. And there's always a fierce debate. Today's a big day as well. Lenskart is one of the best known consumer brands when it comes to eyewear. I don't know if you're participating in this one, anything else. What have you been doing, if anything at all, with the IPOs here?
We're less involved on the IPO side, but just in terms of broad market backdrop, I think India is actually going through the phase of a lot of the financialization of the system. And in fact, probably the only country I can see where the IPOs are going through is a reflection of the investor confidence in the market. So you certainly are seeing that uptick. And this also is another factor when you think about it in terms of the new equity issuance and the IPOs, which will keep bringing the FIIs back in focus as the markets turn.
Okay. All right. We will see how it goes. But for now, at least, the deals market on the primary side and even secondary market deals has been an absolute frenzy in an otherwise range-bound year. Thank you so much for joining in. Good to have that perspective from you. Have a great weekend, and we look forward to chatting again soon.